Hey guys, how's it going? It's Rob Sutton with Bike 198, and today we are looking at this guy right here, the EVOC Hip Pack Pro 3 liter. So let's get at it. So guys, before we get started with the review, a little bit of story time here. I've got some issues with my lower back. We found out a couple years ago that they like to herniate because I have some degenerative disc disease down in the lower 3. So when I have weight pulling on my shoulders a lot, it can kind of bulge those discs out, and it's not really all that comfortable. So I started looking at options that would get that weight off my shoulders. Now, obviously there are hydration packs that try to put a lot of weight on your hips, but still have straps. That wasn't something I really wanted. I wanted all the weight off the shoulders and to never have to worry about it again. So that's when I started looking at hip packs. And after some digging and trying to figure out exactly what I wanted, I looked at everything from Camelback to Kind, and I landed on this EVOC Hip Pack Pro. So let's take a look at it. So guys, let's get into the specs. It has a volume of 3 liters. It weighs 430 grams. It measures out to 28 by 18 by 8 centimeters. Has what they call an airflow contact system, venti flap, 2 bottle carriers, included 1.5 liter hydration bladder, and it comes in carbon gray, chili red, which is the version I have, and sulfur moss green. MSRP on this thing is $129.99. So what do you get with the Hip Pack Pro? Let's take a quick overview of it and then we'll tell you what I think. So when you open up the front pocket, you get a waterproof cell phone pocket. You get 3 elastic pockets to store whatever you want to in there. Then you zip that up and you go into the main storage compartment, which is divided into 2 sections. One carries that bladder, the other is an additional storage pocket. Around the waist, you get 2 additional easy access storage pockets that go right about on your hips. You also have what they call as the venti flap, which puts you in climbing or descending mode. What it basically does is either lets it off your back a little bit for airflow, or you get to cinch it up to your back to keep it stable. So the bladder this comes with is a 1.5 liter Hydro Pack. It is actually a great bladder. It's very easy to fill, and the little top rail system to seal it is great. The straw works. It's pretty much become the standard for everyone out there if you're not Camelback. Then you have the airflow contact system, which is what is actually up against your back and tries to add some ventilation to the pack to keep heat down. And then the elastic band that comes around the waist along with the buckle to tighten down and keep everything secure. The 2 bottle carriers will be in elastic pockets that are on either side of the front pouch. And then finally, the bladder straw comes through the side of the pouch around the waist and connects with a magnetic little button right there on the opposite side. All right, so now you've got an overview of the pack. Let's talk about what's good with it first. First off, the materials that they use in the construction of this pack are great. It's really durable. I've thrown it against the ground more times than I can count, and as you can see, it still looks like the day I bought it. Also, one of the favorite parts about the pack for me is actually this wide elastic strap with Velcro that goes across your waist first before you do the nylon buckle. What this does is give you a lot more surface area of the pack against your waist, and it's a lot more comfortable as well. Also, that venti strap that they have that's supposed to be for climbing and descending, I always leave in descending mode. It feels good to have to cinch that back up a little bit, and it keeps it a lot more secure on your back. It doesn't ever feel like it's just flopping around all over the place. I've never really loosened it up into that climbing mode before because I never really felt like the pack got too hot, which brings me to their venting system in the back, which is basically some foam that has a lot of cutouts in it. It works really well. I've never really felt like my back was overly sweaty or I had to, take it off because I got too hot. It really just kind of disappears and isn't there, which is nice. Also, the pack isn't too big. I was looking at the Kind and some other ones that had some more storage in them, but they looked like they were pretty big on the back. I wanted to keep this at a nice happy medium. Have enough space where I can carry the things that I need, but not so much space that I'm just carrying around extra weight for no reason. This seemed to follow that kind of middle of the road guideline I was looking for, and it has worked out really well on even longer trail rides where I might need to bring some extra, nutrition or other stuff with me. One thing to keep in mind with the storage though is if you were using that main compartment that is with the bladder, especially if you have a full bladder that you are loaded with to go for a ride, take something like your extra tube or something that's really slim and stuff it almost under the bladder on the opposite side. It really helps you save some space, and it could be a little bit crowded in there until you drink some of that water. So on the trail, it felt great. It never really moved. It really does kind of just disappear, and it makes things really easy on your back because all of that weight is right there on your hips. So now we've gone over everything that's been good with the pack. Let's talk about some of the bad. First, I am not that big of a guy. Depending on how much beer I had the weekend before, I'm at a max of a 36 waist, mostly a 34. With this pack, that elastic strap, I don't have much room left for adjustment. So if you are a larger rider, you might want to try one of these on first before you buy one, because they really seem designed towards thinner framed people. So the second thing, and this is a fault of most of the hip hydration packs, that magnetic connection is really annoying. Especially if you're on a bouncy trail, it's really hard to get that thing to just come right back to where it's supposed to be. and they can sometimes fall off in really rough terrain. But there is a workaround, and it's really cheap and really simple. So all you have to do is go onto Amazon and buy a cheap badge holder. Yes, those ones that you use for your ID cards at work or other scan cards that you need. So what these badge holders have is a retractable cord that'll actually just bring the straw right back. So all you have to do is clip the badge holder onto the pack, put the part that would hold the card around the straw, and you have a permanent solution for that straw coming back to its spot every single time, and you don't have to worry about it. Then that brings me to some of those little storage issues. I already told you it'd be easier to put your tube underneath the bladder. When you have a full bladder in this thing, it is hard to fit anything in that rear compartment. And the cell phone pocket that's in that front pouch can only really fit small cell phones. My iPhone Pro Max won't even begin to start to fit into there. So what I basically have to do is kind of just let it hang out loose there in between those storage pockets and the actual flap. If those zippers were to ever come down for any reason, my phone would be on the trail somewhere. So keep that in mind when you look at that cell phone pocket. It's only gonna fit something like this other Google Pixel 4a that I can show you. Larger cell phones just aren't gonna fit in there. And then it comes down to price. This is one of the more expensive hip packs on the market at $130. You could definitely find cheaper packs out there. You're gonna have some kind of compromise here and there, but for the most part, this is on the premium side of the market. I overall like the style and the durability and the size for my use, but definitely go out there and look for some other ones if you want to be a little bit more budget conscious when it comes to hydration packs. So what are my overall thoughts on the pack? I've been really happy with it. It's super stable on my back. I wish it was a little less expensive, but other than that, I've been super happy with it. It's been crazy durable, and it happens to look good. Unless you're my wife and think that every single fanny pack out there looks like I should have a camera around my neck. But other than that, it's been a great addition to my riding, and my back has never felt better. So I wanna hear what you guys think. Do you guys use a hip pack now? I wanna hear down in the comment section below. Please hit like for this video if you enjoyed the review, and consider subscribing to Bike 198 for more reviews and tutorials like this in the future. Until then, live the ride and on to the next one. Thanks guys, see you.